What's going on, everyone? My name's Eric, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at this right here. This is a 2016-ish Wylde Audio Warhammer in this nice Pelham Blue Vertigo swirl kind of finish here with the Floyd Rose. Very hard to come by. These are not in production anymore, and I'm very stoked to be able to have one on the channel here and share it with you all today. If you have not seen the unboxing video, that is on my channel here. You can go check that out for my first initial thoughts and impressions and everything like that. But today I'm going to give you a full overview of this guitar. And before we do a deep dive on this guitar, let's hear this guitar in a full demo mix. And that was the Wylde Audio Warhammer in a full demo mix. The signal chain was real simple. It's this guitar going straight into a chorus pedal, into my rev generator on the purple channel, going into the cabinet section of Neural DSP's John Petrucci plugin, and I was using the Dunlop Dimebag Signature Crybaby from Hell for all the wah parts in the demo. So now let's do a bit of a deep dive on the Warhammer guitar, because this guitar actually started many years ago when Zakk Wylde was playing Gibson guitars. You might remember when Zakk was actually playing the Gibson SGV, which is kind of where this gets its look. And the SGV is literally what it is. It's the top half of an SG mixed with the bottom half of a Flying V, which gets you the original design, which then turned into this guitar here. Zakk Wylde had a few different finishes on the many SGVs that he had throughout his time while playing Gibson guitars, and those ones have been discontinued since Zakk Wylde has left Gibson guitars, or they might have been discontinued years before Zakk actually made the official departure from Gibson to start Wylde Audio. And another company known as Dean Guitars actually released a very similar design right around that time as well. That is called the Split Tail, and essentially it has like an offset SG top with a Flying V bottom. And that's another guitar that we'll talk about for another time. And it's just very interesting seeing another case of Dean Guitars and Gibson going head to head with very similar designs that maybe gets one of the companies in hot water. But getting back to the Wylde Audio Warhammer and this guitar here, this guitar was initially released in around 2016, 2017. It came in a few different variations, mainly with either the option of a Floyd Rose bridge that we see right here, or with the option of a string through bridge. And I believe the string through version is more common than the one option out with the Floyd Rose, as we can see here, because that one usually pops up a little more frequently on the used market, whereas these ones never really pop up that much. And speaking of being hard to come by, these guitars and the Warhammer line itself has actually been discontinued by Wylde Audio. Although Zakk is now playing this shape, the Warhammer, with Pantera right now, and there have been a ton of different paint schemes on the Warhammer guitars that Zakk uses in his personal collection with his time in Pantera, such as the white buzzsaw, the Dean from Hell replica, and we also have a few other bullseye designs as well. I really hope the design design comes back, because this is actually such a monster of a guitar and it's so unique. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds with the Warhammer guitar and if it is going to return into production. And now let's go over the specs on the Wylde Audio Warhammer guitar here. We have the very obvious Warhammer body here, which is probably too big to fit all on screen at the same time. The body is made out of mahogany. We have two EMG pickups here. We have the signature Zakk Wylde combination, 81 in the bridge, 85 in the neck. Floyd Rose 1000, which actually holds tune and returns to its actual neutral point very, very well. And I haven't had any sort of issues regarding tuning or ease of use with the Floyd Rose. 2 volumes, 1 tone. We have a 3-way toggle switch right down here, which is a little bit awkward to access when you are playing guitar and you have to change pickups on the fly. But if you are just a rhythm player or mainly a lead player and you're gonna hang out on the bridge or the neck pickup for a good while at a time, it's definitely not that bad to get used to. Moving down to the neck here, we have a 24.6-inch scale length here, which is a very interesting design, a little bit shorter than a traditional Gibson style scale length here. 22 nickel frets, ebony fingerboard with these big block inlays here that basically cover the entire fret that they're on, so you can't really get lost of where you are on the fingerboard here. We have the Wylde Audio 3/3 headstock, which kind of looks like a dagger. We have the Grover 18:1 ratio regular tuners finished in satin black here. We have a 3-piece maple neck here with the Zakk shape. And for those of you who don't know, the Zakk shape on the Wylde Audio guitars, for the most part, this is my only reference point of the Wylde Audio guitars, by the way. This neck is on the thicker side of things, but it is not totally uncomfortable. This kind of reminds me of a 50s Les Paul or a 50s Les Paul design for those of you who have actually played a 50s or a 50s reissue Les Paul in some way, shape, or form. It's not super uncomfortable, but if you're coming from the shred guitar world with guitars such as Ibanez, Jackson, or ESP and everything like that, so keep that in mind, but this is not a make or break or like a baseball bat to play. It's actually a very comfy design, but after playing this guitar for a good amount of time and really getting to know it, I really enjoy the neck, to be totally honest, and I usually like a pretty thin neck on my guitars, but this is actually a nice change of pace, to be totally honest. So if you enjoy having different size necks in your guitar collection, this might be one to consider because it actually is comfy despite how big it is in comparison to some of those other brands that I have mentioned. And last but not least, this guitar is made in Korea. This is made alongside Schecter guitars, as Wylde Audio is distributed through Schecter guitars. So if you are used to Schecter guitars, you're going to have the same build quality and overall attention to detail as you would on some of those made in Korea Schecter guitars, just as well as some of those LTDs and those PRS SE guitars as well, because those are all made in Korea as well. And generally speaking, from a fit and finish standpoint, I am so impressed with this guitar. I used to have an Epiphone Les Paul Zakk Wylde guitar, and I sold it because it just really wasn't my thing. I'm not really a Les Paul guy, but honestly, in terms of like fit and finish and like build quality and just how this guitar feels, and this guitar honestly blows the Epiphone out of the water, and I'm really happy that this guitar is in my personal collection now. So now with all that being said, let's hear this guitar in a few isolated mixes going through a couple rhythm, mid-gain, clean, and lead tones. Here we go. that's going to do it for today's video on the Wylde Audio Warhammer guitar here. Let me know in the comments below of what you think about the Warhammer design or if what you think about Wylde Audio guitars in general. Do you want to see this shape come back, and maybe with a few other paint schemes that have been seen on Zakk Wylde's personal guitars that he's been using with Black Label and with the Pantera Celebration? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. It lets me know you enjoy the content that I make for you all. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I have tons more content like this going over guitars, going over guitar setup and maintenance tutorials, tons of Pantera and tons of Dimebag things, and other guitar reviews and everything like that. Thanks for checking this video out, and I'll see you next time.